Tell me something that I don't know. Take me somewhere.
G'day, I'm Wes and welcome to Ausland Studios. Today we're going to look at how to use an external effects unit with our Yamaha AW4416 audio workstations. The AW4416 has great onboard effects, but you really only have two independent effects units on board, and you might wish to use more than that at mixdown, or you might have a great outboard external reverb that you wish to use, or an old chorus pedal, or something that you just wish to use an effect that isn't in the AW. So the AW makes this quite easy to do. It's quite flexible. You still have functionality at auto mix time or things like that. So let's get in and have a look and see how it goes. What we're going to do here is wire up an Alesis Quadriverb 2 effects unit as an external effects box. Internal effect 1 is usually controlled by auxiliary 7, and internal effect 2 is usually controlled by auxiliary 8. What we're going to do is use auxiliary 3 in the AW to control the amount of effect send for any given track or input to the Alesis Quadriverb 2. So I physically connect Omni output number 3 to the inputs of the Alesis Quadriverb. The outputs of the Alesis Quadriverb, the stereo output, is returned back into two spare channels on the AW4416. In this case I'm bringing them back in channels 3 and 4. These will act as the effect returns. So to summarise again, we're going to use auxiliary 3, which will be physically routed by Omni output number 3 to the input of the quadriverb. Then the output of the quadriverb, the stereo output of the quadriverb, will be returned to channels 3 and 4 of the AW. Now we set up our routing. Push the setup button, followed by the F2 function key to go to the patch out screen. Here we see our Omni out assign. We scroll across to Omni out 3 and reassign it from where I had it, which was the left stereo bus, and make the assignment auxiliary 3. Any changes we make with an auxiliary 3 fader for a track or an input will appear at the Omni out. Now to set up aux3 as a post fader send, because we're going to use it for an outboard effects unit, so we push F3. That takes us to the screen for the input and the monitor layer, and it's set to post. You would use pre-fader send for something like sending out to a fold-back wedge or something like that. Or if during a mix you wish to fade away the main signal source and have the effect remain in the mix. For example, you have the snare going along and you pull away the snare sound and all that's left is the reverb of the snare. Remember, we patched the outputs of the effects unit back into channels 3 and 4. So now we select them, we select home and then input, and then we select channel 3, and the screen will come up on input 3. We scroll across and we see that input 3 has been sent to the stereo bus, and now we pan it to the left because we want a stereo field, and then we select input 4, and you can see now that it's also going to the stereo bus, and we pan it to the right. We can select or channel link both channels 3 and 4, as you can see there. Input link them, and then you can see there that they're panned left and right, and any movement on either of those faders will result in both faders moving together, as you can see here. Set them up to unity or 0. Now we want to add quadriverb reverb to that snare track. We select monitor, aux3, and then we turn up the reverb on the snare track, and that reverb will be coming from the quadriverb and then on the overheads. So it's just as simple as that. Well, I hope that gets you up and running. So get out into your shed, grab your old roll and chorus pedal and fire it in and plug it across one of your songs and see what you can do. You can check out my website, www.auslandmusic.com, where there'll be more tutorials being put up from time to time, and you can also grab a copy of my album while you're there if you wish. So until next time, happy tracking.